Important win for Real Madrid today. Real Madrid today, after 3 games dropping points, finally was able to get the win. But first, I have to start off this video on a somber note. Before the game, yesterday, before Real Madrid's game today against Olympiacos, Raul Asensio's grandfather passed away, and so just want to send out my deepest condolences to you and your family. Raul Asensio is a player who came through the Castilla, so playing for the first team, being a starter for Real Madrid in the Champions League, I'm sure is a dream come true. So I hope this brings a lot of pride to his family during this difficult time. Now, there's a few things I want to cover in this video about the performance against Olympiacos. There was many positives in this match. Although Real Madrid was not facing one of the most elite sides in Europe, this is the first time that Real Madrid has won in Greece in our history as a football club. And Kylian Mbappé obviously records the second fastest hat-trick in the Champions League, scoring a hat-trick in only 7 minutes. But when Real Madrid goes down in this match, you think to yourself, there could be a bit of a mountain to climb for Real Madrid. It could be a little bit challenging for them to mount a comeback. But pretty quickly, you saw the genius of some of our players, Kylian Mbappé, Vinicius. And by the way, Vinicius today had 2 assists. He easily could have had 3 because Arda Guler gets a pass from Vinicius, which he should have taken first time, but he tries to square it to Kylian Mbappé, and obviously that chance was squandered. But a really good performance today overall by Vinicius. It looks like the old Vinicius, but again, in a game like this where it's more transitions and he's having more opportunities to run at his defender, he's being put in positions to really look good. But it's usually not the case in most matches that Real Madrid plays in. Most teams sit a little bit deeper. They try to play 2v1 against Vinicius. There's not a lot of space. There's very few transitions. But the way Real Madrid was able to play behind Olympiacos' back line was really good in this match. But first, I want to start off and talk about the build-up. In the build-up, especially from goal kicks, Real Madrid would use Lunin. And Alexander-Arnold would then move into the pivot so that he would form a double pivot with either Camavinga or Tchouaméni. And then Federico Valverde would be very disciplined in hugging the touchline to create that, to really stretch the field whenever Real Madrid was in possession. And so Alexander-Arnold was then able to play centrally and really initiate a lot of the ball progression from the central midfield. But what you saw in this match against Olympiacos is that Real Madrid improved significantly their off-ball movement. You saw a lot of 1-2s and a lot of combination plays where players would feed the ball to a player and make the runs to create a little bit of space. And when that was happening, Real Madrid was also looking to switch the point of attack by making the long balls across the pitch in order to open up the field for Real Madrid. And so this was very effective in this game. But again, you have to question whether Real Madrid could do this effectively against more elite sides that are being very aggressive in pressing the ball. Because Real Madrid was able to combine with those 1-2 passes in short distances against a team like Olympiacos, but when you're facing the likes of Manchester City or Arsenal or PSG or Bayern Munich, you're going to be facing much more elite opposition who are aggressively chasing down the ball. So this becomes a question about Real Madrid's performance today, because there were so many transitions, so many opportunities where Real Madrid was through on goal, through against Olympiacos' defenders, because Olympiacos was not very well organized defensively. And at times they tried to play the offside trap, and obviously that's what led to Real Madrid being able to score the second goal, which Camavinga finds Mbappé over the top with a really good pass. By the way, Camavinga in this match was sick. He was not feeling well before the match. He was coming off of a really severe cold, apparently, according to different sources. And that's why he comes off at halftime and Ceballos comes in for Camavinga. But he had a really good performance in that first half. But this is the first time we've really seen this season a double pivot of Camavinga and Tchouaméni. You have to say, one of the biggest concerns was obviously the physicality and the defensive solidity between both players was going to be very evident. But the question is, how is Real Madrid going to solve some of the ball progression? Today, you saw that Real Madrid was able to play through Olympiacos' press. They found it pretty easy to find those line-breaking passes. And you even saw different instances where players like Raul Asensio, whenever Olympiacos was in a compact block, he would play more adventurous passes to break through Olympiacos' pressing. Another player that I have to highlight today was Ferland Mendy, who hadn't played any minutes for Real Madrid since the Copa del Rey final. It was really surprising to see Ferland Mendy today as a starter and for him to play this many minutes. Of course, Alvaro Carreras goes to center back. He has a decent performance, a few misplaced passes out of the back. Overall, you have to say Carreras is a very functional center back who can slot into that position, which is very good because because this gives Real Madrid a lot of versatility. But again, one of the things Real Madrid struggled with in this game was a lot of the crosses coming into the box. Real Madrid struggled to be able to defend them. And so this goes back to the same thing we had in the game against Atleti, which is Real Madrid being able to defend some of these crosses coming into the box. But of course, a lot of this changes if you have the likes of Dean Howson, Militao, Rudiger back and available in the squad. Both Militao and Rudiger should be fit for the game against Manchester City, and so that changes the dynamic for Real Madrid in terms of their ability to defend crosses into the box. But today, it was a really good performance by Ferland Mendy. Defensively, he was solid. He defended really well. There was no completed dribbles past Ferland Mendy, but again, he looked like he was missing a little bit of that sharpness and pace, which of course, he's been out for so long. He's only going to get better with more time. Just having Ferland Mendy in the team and having him as an option really helps Xabi Alonso in a big way. One of the things you can rely on when it comes to Ferland Mendy is his ball progression. He hardly ever misplaces any passes out of the back. Another player I have to highlight today who played really well was Arda Guler. Arda Guler playing in that 10 role when he's feeding the ball to both Vinicius and Kylian Mbappé. I talked about this in the last video about how Kylian Mbappé has really suffered when Arda Guler went further down the pitch because Jude Bellingham came back and he was playing at the 10. And again, you see today when Arda Guler comes back and he's playing at the 10, he assists Kylian Mbappé with excellent cross to the back post. Both players really read each other so well. Arda Guler understands where Kylian Mbappé wants those passes, and Kylian Mbappé knows where to make himself available because he reads the passes of Arda Guler really well. And so this is something that Xabi Alonso needs to figure out because of course, a player like Jude Bellingham is crucial to Real Madrid. He's a guaranteed starter, one of the best attackers in Europe. Kylian Mbappé just seems to benefit so much when Arda Güler is playing right behind him because the weight of the passes, the way that Arda Güler finds Kylian Mbappé consistently whenever he starts at the 10, you have to say that that's been the game changer for Kylian Mbappé this season. As soon as Arda Güler is playing at the 10, Kylian Mbappé is scoring 4 goals. Of course, it's the context. Vinicius also was instrumental in some of those goals to Kylian Mbappé, but I can't help but notice that Kylian Mbappe's performances whenever he has a creative player like Arda Güler, a 10, who's feeding him those passes, who's constantly looking for Kylian Mbappe's runs, and Kylian Mbappé is always looking to play behind the last defender to make those runs whenever he sees Arda Güler with the ball. That synergy between both players just seems to work so well, and so this is something that Xabi Alonso needs to solve. I kind of touched on Alexander-Arnold already in this video, but he had another really good performance today. So far, 2 really good performances back-to-back by Alexander-Arnold. This is a player when a few of his passes that he made across the pitch were superb. You're starting to see the quality of Alexander-Arnold. If he continues to get a consistent run of games without getting injured, you can see how he's going to rack up a number of assists. If Alexander-Arnold stays healthy throughout this entire season, I'm predicting he will at a minimum get anywhere from 12 to 15 assists this season because the quality is there. And so far in the 2 games that he started, he was so unlucky not to have multiple assists already. Another player I have to highlight as well in this video is Federico Valverde. Today, Federico Valverde played as a right midfielder, but oftentimes he would tuck into the middle so that he could provide more defensive solidity whenever Real Madrid was out of possession. But in possession, he was very disciplined in really trying to stretch Olympiacos, and his energy was really important in this game because he would initiate a lot of ball carrying. He was really involved in a lot of the defensive sequences. Really good performance by Valverde, and you can see that this role, this position for Valverde seems to make a lot of sense, and it should probably be his best position going forward. I think tonight answered a lot of questions for Xabi Alonso. For some players like Federico Valverde, if he was wondering if Fede makes sense in the pivot, I think Fede makes a lot more sense playing in the position that he played today. He can influence the game by going into the middle when needed to provide more defensive solidity. He can use his energy to break lines, to initiate some of the ball carrying from the right midfield position, and he can be a two-way presence both defensively and attacking wise. Today we saw Real Madrid come back in a game where they went down 1-0. They showed a lot of spirit. They looked like they were a collective team that fought together. There were several comments made by Xabi Alonso after the game saying that there was discussions that took place within the squad, within many of the senior players within the team who had discussions about what was going to happen with this football club, and they seemed to have come to some sort of understanding and some sort of agreement. Because when Real Madrid went down 1-0, there were many question marks about what was going to be the response by Real Madrid, and you got the response. They fought hard. They worked together collectively. There was a commitment by all the players to work hard on and off the the ball, and I didn't see any negative body language by Valverde, no jogging, nothing from Camavinga. Vinicius worked hard, and he hugged Xabi Alonso at the end of the game, which was very positive. So overall, body language by the players really good, a step in the right direction. But you have to say Olympiacos today also was not. But you have to say Olympiacos didn't exactly play a really good game today. This was less about Real Madrid playing very well today, as much as it was Olympiacos not playing very good, and they were, let's be frank, they were kind of poor today. But overall, really good performances by our attacking players. Kylian Mbappé breaking records, which he will continue to do because he's the best football player in the world. It's good to see Vinicius back in good spirits and impacting the game in a positive way. Let's keep this momentum going. We have to win at San Mamés. And if you guys like this video, please make sure to hit that like button. It helps me a lot. And if you're new here, I appreciate it if you subscribe. Thank you for watching, and Hala Madrid.